It's 23 minutes past 6, and I have with me in the studio a bloke. He's a researcher at the University of New England. That's a long way away. His name is Philip Zada. Good morning, Philip.
Good morning, Red.
What are you on about?
Well, I'm a researcher, as you said, at the University of New England.
Yes.
I'm researching at the moment, as part of my PhD, the viability of using a mobile internet e-voting platform.
That sounds appalling to me.
Why is that?
So, e-voting in the case of, say, a federal election or a state election.
Federal, state, local, we're looking at all areas here.
Is every mobile phone unique?
In regards to an identifier, you mean?
Yeah.
Or, well, depending on basically the device, but unfortunately that isn't a reliable factor that you can use.
Well, there's your first problem.
So, basically, when you're looking at a mobile internet e-voting platform, you've got to look at how can you make sure that the person using the device is unique. Because, for example, a household could have one smartphone amongst 4 people.
Ooh. Or I could get hold of my wife, who's a Greek S. I could get hold of her phone and vote for her.
Well, that depends if she gives you her security identification information.
Oh, how many combinations could there be? Okay, so why would this be better than going to a booth with a pencil?
Yeah, so as part of this research, we've looked at international trials and what's been done around the world, even here at home with in New South Wales with their iVote system. So essentially,
sorry, New South Wales with their iVote system?
Yes, so New South Wales have a system called iVote,
Yeah.
which is by the New South Wales Electoral Commission,
Yeah.
which essentially allows people with disabilities, people who live a fair distance away from polling stations,
Right.
to be able to cast a vote online.
Online.
Yeah.
I suppose if you trust the bank with,
Exactly.
with your money, then I care much more about my money than who's Prime Minister, if the truth be known.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess we have secure systems in that regard. But the advantage of the old-fashioned piece of paper thing is you can have a recount. How do you have a recount with e-voting?
Well, the beauty with e-voting is that once the information is in there, into the system, it can effectively be counted, and once it's counted through the algorithms that are used, it's essentially, that's the number, really.
But I want a fail-safe. I want a second count. I want the possibility of a second count. If I make an e-vote, do I get a receipt?
What you get is effectively an identifier, which is linked to what's called, or in one example, it's linked to an online bulletin board. Now, that identifier is effectively your receipt, as you call it, to how you cast your vote. Now, it's unique. It's calculated on how you've placed your ballot without revealing exactly how you voted. And you can be able to check that online and trust in the system that effectively the way you've cast your ballot is the way that it's getting counted.
There is a key phrase. Trust the system.
Yes, definitely.
You've capriciously thrown into the air. Why not just, with algorithms and stuff, just make a general survey of Facebook, and rather than us having to vote individually, just get it to get the vibe. Get the vibe.
Well, unfortunately, the governments don't like it that way. But one of the key points that we stress with this research is we're not actually looking at replacing the traditional polling places. We're looking at complementing it with having the facility available to be able to cast your ballot online.
Yeah, I'm always wary of those sort of conspiracy theory documentaries you see where all the votes end up on a big chip. Which gets given to some bloke who takes it to the central monitoring area. And it's always in Louisiana or somewhere like that. Yes. It always seems to me that the fail-safe that we have now is you get to have a recount. There's an accounting which is physically there. As soon as things become abstract and dots and dashes on the internet, I get really scared.
Well, that's actually a legitimate concern. A lot of countries have actually had that concern when they've looked at internet voting platforms. One of the key principles of any type of system like that is that the votes actually have to be able to be printed in a way that they can be physically counted and proven in court.
Yeah, okay, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah, so as part of the research, we've launched a public awareness campaign called Mobile Voting.
Right.
Now, what mobile voting is essentially as stated, public awareness campaign to try and get the debate happening in the public about this platform. Because what we're intending to do in the near future is actually release a survey and actually gather some feedback on challenges that people perceive with the system. And then with those challenges, we'll address that and output at the end of it all what's called a vulnerability analysis.
Right.
Yeah.
And in your perfect world, an e-voting system will come to pass such that when you finally get out of university and you get a job, you'll have something to do.
Well, I'm actually got a job, so that's really good.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, Philip.
Thank you, Red.
It's a continuingly interesting debate.